You've played the games, heard the music, and grown up with the plumber in red. But did you know every sound, every cloud, and every pixel hides a secret? What if the world of Super Mario has been quietly teaching us about wonder, imagination, and happiness all along? Tonight, we begin a gentle walk through the Mushroom Kingdom, and it starts with you. Settle in, rest your hands, slow your breath, and let your eyes grow heavy, gently. This is a soft story for 180 random Super Mario facts to fall asleep to, but it will feel like a quiet dream, not a list. As we start, tell me, softly or in the comments later, where you are watching from. Are you in a small room with a humming fan, or a busy city that is finally calm? Wherever you are safe here, and the story will slow down to match your breath. Close your eyes and remember a simple controller in your hands. Maybe your first Mario was an arcade cabinet, or a living room with cousins. You pressed start, and the world opened with a blue sky and green hills. You did not know every choice came from limits, tiny chips, and careful art. You only knew it felt right, like a friend saying hello. That feeling is where our quiet path begins. Long before galaxies and capes and giant maps you turn with a stick. Mario lived inside small boxes of memory. Developers had to fit colors, sounds, and motion into spaces smaller than a short note. The red cap was not only style, it helped show hair and movement with fewer shapes. The overalls were not only work clothes, they made arms and jumps easy to see. Even the bright sky saved space and kept the world clean and calm. Out of limits came charm, and out of charm came a hero who felt brave and kind. This simple truth is the first glow of our night. Think of the first time you found a secret block and felt a soft shock of joy. You did not need words to learn it. The game taught by showing, and you learned by trying. A pipe led down, a vine led up, and your hands found a rhythm like breathing. You failed, you tried again, and the sound of the jump became a heartbeat that never scolded you. Even now, that sound can make your shoulders drop and your jaw unclench. We will move through many facts tonight, like quiet steps on soft ground. Some will be tiny, like how a single tile hides a secret. Some will be big, like how a whole adventure fit on a thin gray cartridge that clicked into place. We will remember toy-like pipes, flags that slide down, and stars that sing. We will remember how a plumber became a pilot, a doctor, a racer, and a traveler of the stars. Each detail will settle like dust in a sunbeam, slow and golden. If you listen closely, you can almost hear a room from long ago. A box fan hums, and a neighbor's TV murmurs through a wall. The screen shows the first level, and your thumb rests on the jump button. You breathe in for 4 counts and out for 4 counts, and the world's hard edges begin to smooth. Maybe you remember an older cousin teaching you a shortcut, and how proud you felt. Maybe you remember a parent who did not know the buttons but cheered anyway. Maybe you remember playing late, the only light a soft blue square on your face. These are small things, but small things can hold whole years. That is the magic of Mario, and also why sleep comes easier here. Our facts will rest in that magic and carry you toward dreams. You may wonder how a game can feel warm when it is only code and light. It is because the people who made it cared about how it would feel at the end of a long day. They shaped rules that guide your hands the way a calm teacher guides a child. They hid kindness inside challenge, and they gave you room to fail without shame. So tonight, when we speak of secrets and numbers and designs, we will hold that same kindness. As we approach the edge of this first gentle act, the tone softens more. Your breath is slower now, your shoulders lower, your jaw loose and easy. The colors in your mind turn to late evening, warm gold, blue, soft green. We set our pace for the rest of the night, unhurried. The story will flow like water over smooth stones, each fact a ripple that fades to calm. Our road begins in pixels and ends in stars, But for now, we walk the first few steps together. When you are ready, we will follow the limits that built this world, and watch how small choices lit a path that still glows when our eyes grow heavy and the room falls still. In the soft glow of the early morning, the story drifts deeper into how the world of Mario was first built, not from endless power, but from limits. The hum of old machines fills the quiet air, gentle and low, like a sleepy heartbeat. The developers worked with tiny spaces of memory, just a few kilobytes to build an entire universe. Every pixel mattered, every sound counted. The Nintendo Entertainment System, the NES, could only hold so much, and inside that space, a world had to breathe. What most would call a restriction became a playground of imagination. They could not fit big pictures or wide maps, so they learned to hint instead. A blue sky meant open air without needing moving clouds. A hill with a smile could be drawn with only a few green lines. The ground blocks repeated, yet our eyes saw a land stretching far. The red of Mario's cap helped you find him no matter how busy the screen became. The white gloves made his jumps look clear. The blue overalls separated his arms from his body. These were not accidents. They were tiny, brilliant choices made under pressure, like painting on the head of a pin. Sometimes the developers stayed late into the night, staring at small boxes of code on glowing screens. They had to make an entire adventure fit into what felt like a single breath of memory. They gave Mario his short, quick jump, not only because it felt good, but because it saved space to reuse frames. The sound of a coin was one note repeated fast. It took up less data than a song. Even the background music looped because there was no room for long tracks, and yet those short tunes became lullabies for millions. What began as necessity became memory. Imagine being there in that small room in Kyoto, the hum of computers surrounding you, the air warm and buzzing. Sheets of graph paper lie scattered on desks, each one filled with drawn squares that will soon become bricks, pipes, and enemies. Someone sketches a turtle with wings, another draws a mushroom that makes you grow. Every idea must be simple enough to fit, yet strong enough to feel alive. The quiet excitement in that room was like lightning in a bottle, tiny, contained, yet bright enough to light the world. Because the systems were weak, the team had to be clever. Scrolling screens were new, and the NES couldn't hold an entire level at once, so the game only showed a small piece, sliding forward like a window as Mario ran. It gave the illusion of a big world, but behind the curtain, the game was quietly erasing what you left behind to make room for what came next. The same trick was used for enemies. Goombas and Koopas were recycled again and again, given different colors to seem new. Even the castles you reached at the end of each world were built from reused blocks, yet they felt grand each time. The artists used color to tell you what to feel. Warm reds and oranges for danger, soft greens and blues for peace. The clouds and bushes were secretly the same shape, just painted differently to save space. Once you notice it, you smile, because the trick feels like a shared secret between player and creator. The team didn't have space for extra things, so they learned to make every piece matter twice. A single pipe could be an entrance, a decoration, and a memory of where you've been, all depending on how you looked at it. Over time, as the machines grew stronger, those early lessons stayed. Even when the Super Nintendo arrived, with its soft scrolling clouds and smooth music, the spirit of smallness guided the work. Mario could now ride Yoshi, the levels could stretch wider, but the heart was the same. Every detail had to feel right. Each mushroom, each star, each sound was placed not because it could be, but because it should be. The designers knew that simplicity often feels the most human. The same calm care reached into the 3D era, when Super Mario 64 was born. The jump from 2 dimensions to 3 was a mountain climb of design, and still, the the team kept their old rules close. They limited how many objects could appear in one scene to keep it smooth. They softened colors, shaped levels in loops, and gave Mario a shadow that helped players understand depth. Even in this vast new world, the same guiding hand from those early nights could be felt. Every leap, every bounce, every roll of a coin was built from the wisdom of limits. The story of Mario's design is really the story of how imagination grows best when it must squeeze through small spaces. It is like water finding cracks in stone, soft but unstoppable. When players picked up a controller and smiled, they never saw the struggles behind it. They only felt the joy of movement, the comfort of a familiar sound. Yet behind every cheerful jump was a careful equation, a quiet piece of math that made the impossible look easy. As we move through this second act, you can almost feel the hum of those old machines slowing. The developers lean back in their chairs, tired but smiling. The lights dim, and the little sprites on their screens begin to move as if alive. The camera in your mind drifts through their tiny digital world. A plumber in red, a mushroom that glows, a flag waving at sunset. The music plays in gentle loops, and the limits of old hardware melt into warmth and color. Now, as your breathing slows, imagine you're holding that same controller again. The buttons are smooth, the sound faint and familiar. Every jump, every bounce, every coin collected comes from someone who made magic inside a box that should have been too small. But it wasn't too small, not for them and not for you. The story pauses on this thought, quiet as the hum of an old TV. From limits came wonder, from wonder came peace, and from peace the road ahead unfolds, calm and endless. The soft hum of the world continues as we move forward, leaving behind the glowing rooms of the developers and stepping into the first worlds Mario ever touched. The sound of an old console clicking on feels like the start of a dream. The screen fades from black to sky blue, and a red-capped figure blinks into being. The first Super Mario Bros. Begins, and history quietly unfolds. The grass is a soft green, the bricks warm brown, the clouds puffy and still. The air hums with simple music, da-da-da, da-da-da, and somehow, even now, it feels alive. What began as pixels becomes a place. Each jump and pipe and block connects to a memory shared by millions. When Mario first appeared, he wasn't yet the Mario we know. In Donkey Kong, in 1981, he was only a carpenter with a red shirt, climbing girders to rescue a girl named Pauline. He couldn't even jump properly. His movement was stiff, like a toy wound too tight. But when players saw him, something clicked. There was charm in his struggle, warmth in his little hat. 2 years later, in Mario Bros., he became a plumber, trading steel beams for green pipes and discovering the world beneath the streets. Luigi appeared then too, a taller, softer echo of his brother. It was the first spark of something bigger, something that would grow for decades. By 1985, when Super Mario Bros. Launched on the NES, the world opened wide. For the first time, players didn't just move left and right in a single room. They ran forward through long scrolling fields, past castles and lava pits, under stars and into secret tunnels. It felt endless. The jump was smoother now, the timing precise. The first Goomba appeared, a test, and when it was squashed, a soft sound rewarded you. Every noise in the game, every pop, bounce, and ring felt like part of a rhythm. Mario's movement became music, a dance you learned by instinct. Players who saw that first level never forgot it. World 1-1 became more than a beginning. It became a lesson in how to learn without being told. A single block hung above the ground, asking to be hit. A pipe sat low, inviting curiosity. The flagpole at the end stood tall, a reward glowing in the sunset. Without a word, the game taught you how to play, and it felt like magic. That level still lives inside almost every player who's ever picked up a controller. It's the sound of a childhood afternoon, the sight of a pixel sky that never fades. As years passed, Mario began to change. Super Mario Bros. 2 arrived different and dreamlike. It was built from another game, Doki Doki Panic. Yet somehow it fit. Mario could pick up enemies, float, and dig through sand. The colors were brighter, the music stranger, the world almost surreal. Some players were confused, but others found it peaceful, like wandering through a dream you half remember. Then Super Mario Bros. 3 brought everything together. A map screen, costumes, and playful secrets hidden behind every corner. The raccoon tail let Mario fly, the frog suit made him swim, and the tanuki suit wrapped him in myth. Each new ability felt alive with joy. The music of Mario 3 danced like the steps of a parade, light and proud. When the game released in 1988, it felt like the entire world turned its head toward that little gray cartridge. Critics called it a masterpiece. Children called it magic. Even now, if you close your eyes, you can picture those numbered worlds. The grassy plains, the desert pyramids, the icy lands where you slip and laugh. Each place was simple, yet endless. And when you reached the airships with their black smoke and marching drums, it felt like stepping into legend. Then came the leap to Super Mario World in 1990, and everything expanded again. For the first time, Mario could save progress, revisit stages, and find hidden exits that unlocked secret lands. Yoshi was born here, a green dinosaur with kind eyes and a cheerful cry. His presence changed everything. With Yoshi's help, Mario could soar across gaps, eat enemies, and explore at his own pace. It was still a side-scrolling world, but it felt wide as a country. The soft background colors of the Super Nintendo made everything glow, like watercolor in motion. Players found peace in exploring this new land, not just speed. Some levels hid quiet places with nothing but sky and birds, letting you rest before moving on. Others tested patience, teaching you that calm and timing were power. Every secret exit you found led to another small surprise, a reminder that the game was watching, smiling, rewarding curiosity. It wasn't just a race to the castle anymore, it was a stroll through imagination. Years later, Mario took his greatest leap into the third dimension. Super Mario 64, released in 1996, turned the world into a playground. Peach's castle stood tall, its moat glimmering in soft light. For the first time, players could move freely, climbing, swimming, flying through the air. It was dizzying and beautiful. The first time Mario jumped into a painting, ripples of color spread out like water, and a whole world waited inside. You could hear birds, water, echoes. It felt like stepping through a dream. Players were amazed, but they were also moved. There was something quiet about exploring that castle, about hearing the slow piano theme that played in the hallways. You didn't have to rush. You could walk, look, breathe. Each star you found was a small victory, gentle and personal. The developers wanted it that way. They wanted players to feel not just challenge, but peace. For every hard jump, there was a soft moment of stillness waiting nearby. After that, the worlds kept growing. Super Mario Sunshine filled the air with sea breeze and laughter, water spraying from Mario's jetpack, Fili'ude painting colors into the sky. Then Super Mario Galaxy lifted us into the stars, where gravity twisted and light glimmered like snowflakes in space. Each step of the journey felt bigger, yet somehow more personal. Players had grown up, and so had Mario. The childlike wonder of the early games had turned into a calm joy, the kind that sits quietly in your chest. And through all those changes, Mario himself stayed the same. His smile, his leap, his wahoo, all familiar, all comforting. Each new world carried the old one inside it. Every time he jumped, it felt like the first time again. The shape of the sky changed, but the feeling did not. It was the feeling of hope, of movement, of simple happiness that asks for nothing in return. As the lights dim and your breath slows, we look back at that first appearance. The carpenter who became a plumber, the plumber who became a hero, the hero who became a friend. His journey began as code and color, but it became something more, a heartbeat shared across generations. Every new game, every pixel and sound carries a memory of the first blue sky. And as you drift toward sleep, imagine Mario still running, softly, endlessly forward, through fields of light, across time, through dreams, into the next quiet world that waits. The soft blue sky fades into a deeper shade as we move into the early world design of Mario's universe, where every hill, pipe, and cloud was drawn with care and purpose. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the very first land of the Mushroom Kingdom, the gentle slope of the green hills, the small smiling clouds, the way the sun seemed to hang still above it all. The world was not built for realism, but for rhythm. Each shape and color had a reason. Each line guided the player forward. It wasn't just a landscape, it was a language that spoke without words. The designers knew players would not read long instructions. They would learn by walking, jumping, and feeling their way through color and motion. The land itself would teach them everything they needed to know. If you step into that early world again, you can feel its simplicity like a heartbeat. The grass beneath Mario's boots was only a few lines of green pixels, yet it felt alive. The floating platforms rose and fell in perfect time, steady like waves. The pipes were round and friendly, their greens chosen not to look real, but to feel safe. Even the blocks seemed cheerful, bobbing slightly when touched, always giving something back. A coin, a mushroom, a sound that said, "You're doing fine." It was a place where failure was gentle and learning was play. Every inch of the world invited you to move, to explore, to discover the joy of trying again. The first underground level changed the tone without breaking it. The colors dimmed to deep blue and black, and the music slowed, but the rhythm remained calm. It was still safe, still playful, but quieter. The designers wanted you to feel the change in mood, the way you feel a soft breeze turn cool. They used contrast, not words. In one level, you stood under bright sky. In the next, you were deep below, hearing echoes of your own footsteps. The light and dark worked together, building comfort through difference. That early world was not random. It was a map of feeling. Each part of the Mushroom Kingdom carried a purpose. The question blocks made you curious. The flagpole gave you closure. The castles at the end of each world felt mysterious, but not frightening. They were built of simple shapes, gray and red, their torches flickering with warmth. Even Bowser's lair, full of lava and danger, had beauty in its design. The walls were symmetrical, the platforms spaced evenly. It felt like a pattern, a song of danger that never truly wanted to hurt you. And when you defeated Bowser, or his copy, the little bridge fell with a gentle rhythm, not a crash. The victory was satisfying, not violent. The early Mario worlds also used sound as part of their design. The music followed the player's mood. When you entered a castle, the tempo slowed and the tones deepened. When you jumped into the sky, the melody lifted higher like wind carrying you upward. The harmony between sound and world made you feel that everything you did mattered. If you stood still, the music waited. If you moved fast, it ran with you. It was like walking inside a song. Even the sound of coins was chosen for its comfort. The small chime echoed in your head long after you stopped playing, soft as a lullaby. As more games appeared, the world of Mario grew, but those early designs never left. In Super Mario Bros. 3, the map screens added a sense of travel. You could now see tiny worlds arranged like toys on a table, grasslands, deserts, water, sky. Each land had its own look, its own palette, yet all were tied together by the same rhythm of motion and simplicity. The design philosophy remained the same: teach through play, guide through color, comfort through pattern. The environments expanded, but the feeling stayed. Super Mario World brought smoother lines and softer tones. The hills became rounder, the clouds fluffier, the colors brighter. The background faded into soft blues and purples, calming your eyes while the foreground guided your focus. Each piece of the world served two purposes: to be seen and to be felt. The edges of the screen curved slightly, giving you a sense of depth. The levels looped and folded back on themselves, like winding forest paths. Every platform seemed placed not just to challenge you, but to keep the rhythm alive. The creators believed that the world itself should be a friend, not a threat. Even when you lost a life, the sound was light, a small reminder to try again. There were no sharp punishments or harsh messages, only encouragement hidden inside challenge. The Mushroom Kingdom was a world that forgave you. You could always start again, and it would always greet you the same way, with bright sky, soft clouds, and a smiling hill in the background. In later worlds, when technology grew stronger, the same care remained. In Super Mario 64, the world became 3D, but the feeling stayed 2D in spirit. Each room in Peach's castle was a memory of the older games: a painting, a field, a mountain. The colors were still clear and kind. The grass had a softness to it, the sky a faint haze that made it feel endless. When you ran across the fields outside the castle, you could almost smell the digital air, fresh and clean, the kind of place where time stands still. The developers used light as a guide. Bright pools of sunshine marked the safe places, while shadows hinted at secrets. The world spoke gently, the same way it always had. The early design philosophy also shaped how the player felt emotion. In these worlds, fear was replaced by tension, and tension melted into joy. When you jumped over a pit, your heart lifted a little higher, not because you were scared, but because the rhythm of movement felt right. When you entered a dark level, the mystery wasn't cold, it was cozy. The soft hum of the music, the steady beat of Mario's footsteps, the flicker of torches, all invited you to explore. Even danger felt familiar, like the thrill of a bedtime story you already know the ending to. And through all of it, the design told one quiet truth: beauty comes from purpose. The blocks, the pipes, the enemies, even the background hills, they all served a clear reason. Nothing was wasted. Each detail carried meaning, even the smiling sun or the frowning cloud. The joy of the game came not from how real it looked, but from how complete it felt. It was a small, perfect ecosystem of color and sound, like a toy box you could walk inside. Now, as your breathing slows again, imagine standing in that first level under the soft blue sky. The flag ripples gently, the clouds drift like cotton. You hear the faint hum of music that has followed you for decades. You press forward, and the rhythm begins again. Every jump is familiar. Every hill feels like home. You can almost feel the warmth of the early Nintendo days, the small screens, the pixel glow, the joy of worlds designed to be gentle, bright, and endlessly welcoming. And as you drift towards sleep, the world stays with you. Green hills, blue skies, the soft rhythm of movement that never truly ends. The Mushroom Kingdom never stayed still. As time moved forward, its fields, clouds, and castles began to change like seasons passing. Yet no matter how big the worlds grew, the calm rhythm of exploration stayed the same. You can imagine it now. The gentle sound of footsteps through tall green grass, the hush of wind as you leap from one platform to another, the glow of coins twinkling softly in the distance. The worlds expanded, but their hearts stayed warm. Each new game brought deeper colors, smoother light, and new ways to wander. But every hill and star still whispered the same promise: you are safe here. Keep exploring. In the early days, the sky was painted in simple blue, and the ground rolled in repeating patterns. But as time went on, the world began to breathe. In Super Mario World, you could feel a sense of place. The grass shimmered brighter, the shadows grew softer, and gentle birds sang in the background. Each level had a little story in its shapes. A cave filled with glittering crystals, a forest that whispered secrets, a mountain that reached for the clouds. The music matched the scenery, slow and steady like a lullaby. Nothing rushed you. You could stay as long as you liked. The designers filled each new world with hidden details. In some forests, you could spot tiny animals watching from behind trees. In the snow levels, footprints followed Mario's steps, fading slowly as you moved forward. In the water worlds, light danced on the surface like silk. Every ripple felt real enough to touch, yet dreamlike, soft around the edges. These quiet touches gave the game something deeper than challenge. They gave them calm. They made the player feel that the world itself was alive and that it was happy to have you there. As technology grew, the landscapes became wider, taller, more detailed. In Super Mario 64, players could look up and see the sun. The water shimmered like glass. The grass bent beneath your feet. When you dove into a lake, bubbles drifted upward and popped gently on the surface. The skybox, the painted sky that wrapped around each world, glowed with pastel hues like a watercolor sunset. For the first time, players could turn the camera and see where they had come from, tracing their own path like footprints in sand. It gave a strange, peaceful feeling, as if you were part of the land, not just running through it. By the time Super Mario Sunshine arrived, the world had changed again. The beaches of Isla Delfino were alive with light. The air shimmered with heat, and the ocean stretched as far as the eye could see. You could hear waves rolling softly, gulls calling far away, and water dripping from Mario's jetpack, Flew UD. The island felt real, not because of its size, but because of its warmth. It was a world that breathed in rhythm with you, soft, patient, and full of color. You could spend hours simply walking along the sand, watching the tide slide in and out, listening to the gentle hum of island music. The designers understood something rare, that peace can be as powerful as action. When Super Mario Galaxy came, the sense of wonder reached the stars. The worlds became smaller but more magical, tiny planets floating in the dark, glowing like fireflies in space. The gravity curved beneath your feet, so each step felt like a slow dance through the void. The stars sparkled brighter than diamonds, and the music swelled with violins and soft piano notes. There were no harsh lines, no sharp edges, only curves, colors, and light. Players didn't just explore, they drifted, floating between planets like dream travelers. It was as if the Mushroom Kingdom had grown wings. In those starry levels, the designers blended silence with sound. When you were high above space, the music would fade, leaving only the hum of starlight. When you landed on a new planet, a melody would bloom softly like a flower opening in the dark. Each song had its own personality, some playful, some slow, all gentle. The stars weren't only collectibles, they were lights guiding you through an endless night. You could almost feel their warmth through the screen. Even when the games returned to land, that sense of calm remained. Super Mario Odyssey invited players to explore cities, deserts, seas, and snowfields, but it still felt like home. The kingdoms were vast, yet every inch was friendly. The sand shimmered gold in the sunlight, the city streets glowed under neon lights, and the snowlands glittered like tiny diamonds. The air seemed to hum with quiet joy. The game encouraged curiosity over speed. It asked you not to rush, but to notice, to look behind buildings, under bridges, across rooftops. Every small discovery rewarded you with the same soft sound. The chime of a moon being found, sweet, and satisfying. That calm rhythm is what holds all Mario worlds together. Whether you're on a star, an island, or a simple green hill, each environment feels like a dream gently looping through time. The color choices are never harsh. The skies fade into pinks, blues, and golds. The shadows are soft. The music carries the same heartbeat from the very first game, the sound of discovery, simple and kind. Even danger feels friendly. Lava flows smoothly like candle wax. Lightning flashes and fades quickly. Water always calms what comes after. Some players never realized how carefully balanced it all was. The brightness of the sky was chosen to relax your eyes. The rhythm of coins was timed to match the player's heartbeat at a slow pace. Even the number of blocks in a level was planned to create harmony so the world felt steady. It's as if the game itself wants you to rest, to find peace inside play. The Mushroom Kingdom's magic comes not from surprise alone, but from comfort. The feeling that even in the wildest adventure, you can always come back to green hills and a blue sky. Across all generations, the environment told its own quiet story. In the early days, it whispered, "You can do this." Later, it hummed softly, "Take your time." And now it seems to sing, "You're home." Each evolution of the world reflected the player's journey too. We grew older, and so did Mario's lands. What once felt like a race became a walk. What once was bright excitement became calm reflection. Yet, even now, when the theme music plays and the first level appears, something inside us smiles the same way it did long ago. So, as the act slows to its close, imagine standing once more in a world of bright color and sound. The ground beneath your feet is firm but soft. The air smells like spring. A gentle breeze carries the faint tune of a familiar song. You see a pipe, a block, a flagpole waving far away. Every step you take feels easy. You jump once, and the world responds with that perfect note, the sound of joy itself. Somewhere beyond the screen, the designers smile, knowing they built more than a game. They built a feeling, a calm, lasting place that lives inside everyone who's ever played. And as you breathe out, slow and steady, that feeling stays with you. The world of Mario keeps spinning, quiet and endless, glowing softly in the dark like a nightlight for your dreams. As the worlds of Mario continued to grow and change, so did the people who lived inside them. The Mushroom Kingdom was never empty. It was filled with faces that had slowly become family. At the center of it all stood Mario himself, a small man with a bright red hat and an endless heart. He was more than a hero. He was a feeling, a quiet reminder that courage doesn't need size and kindness doesn't need reward. Every time he jumped into danger, every time he smiled after falling, he taught the same lesson: try again and never lose joy. His red cap was as bright as the morning sun, and his laugh was as round and full as the sound of a coin spinning on stone. There was something peaceful about him, something that made players of all ages feel safe. Mario wasn't made to be perfect. His story began in simple pixels, but over time his movements grew smoother, his eyes brighter, his world wider. Yet his spirit never changed. He worked, he played, he explored. He never spoke much, but his action said everything. Each adventure was a gentle echo of the one before it. New places, new challenges, the same brave heart. Even in the hardest levels, Mario never looked afraid. His steady smile told you that everything would be fine. It was as if he believed not only in himself, but in you too. Next to him, Luigi stood tall and slightly shy, his green cap a soft contrast to his brother's red. Luigi was the kind of hero who didn't need the spotlight. He moved with care, his steps lighter, his jumps higher. There was always a small tremble in his hands, but when it mattered most, he was brave in quiet ways. His nervous laugh made him feel real, like someone we could be. When he finally got his own story, in Luigi's Mansion, players saw the other side of courage, fear that moves anyway. Inside those dark hallways, Luigi's flashlight shook, yet he never gave up. He reminded us that bravery isn't the absence of fear, it's walking forward through it. Princess Peach, soft-spoken and kind, was the gentle light of every game. Her pink gown shimmered like a sunrise, and her calm voice carried warmth into every room. For years, she waited inside castles or drifted high in balloons, but she was never only a damsel. She was the heart of the kingdom, the one who made it worth saving. In later games, when she began to join Mario on his journeys, her quiet strength became clear. She fought with grace, healed with kindness, and ruled with compassion. Every player could feel her care in the smallest details, the way she smiled when rescued, or the way she waved goodbye when the world was safe again. Then came Bowser, the great king of the Koopas. At first glance, he was a monster. Huge claws, spiked shell, a growl that shook the ground. But look closer, and you could see something almost tender in his endless pursuit. He wasn't evil in the cold way villains often are. He was stubborn, proud, and lonely. His castles burned with fire, but behind the roar, there was humor, even charm. He built obstacles not only to stop Mario, but to prove himself worthy. And when he lost, as he always did, he sank into lava or smoke with more dignity than despair. There's a strange comfort in Bowser's presence. He's the reminder that even our biggest challenges can be familiar, even friendly. Over time, Mario's relationships began to tell deeper stories. Yoshi appeared one day, a gentle green companion with big eyes and an even bigger heart. He carried Mario on his back, never complaining, always smiling. The sound of his cheerful Yoshi was enough to make players relax. He ate enemies with a silly tongue and turned danger into laughter. He was loyal in a way that asked for nothing in return. When Mario sometimes had to let him go to reach a high platform, players felt a small ache, like saying goodbye to a friend. Yet Yoshi never seemed upset. His joy was simple, his love unconditional. Toad, with his bright mushroom cap and tiny frame, was another voice of comfort. His high-pitched cheer filled the air whenever Mario entered a castle or found a hidden room. Though small and often scared, Toad worked tirelessly, always ready to help. His smile never faded, even when the odds were high. In many ways, Toad represented the quiet helpers of life, the ones who don't lead, but without whom nothing works. He showed that courage can be loud or soft, and both are beautiful. Then, in time, Rosalina arrived, a mysterious figure watching from the stars. She was calm and patient, her blue gown flowing like night sky. She told stories of loss and love to the Lumas, tiny star children who orbited her with laughter. Rosalina's presence changed the feeling of the Mario world. Her calm, deep voice made the cosmos feel gentle, not cold. She taught that even among the stars, you could find warmth, family, and peace. The way she looked at Mario, half proud, half wistful, made it clear that the universe itself had become part of his home. Each of these characters, from the bravest to the smallest, shared something in common: kindness. They were drawn with round edges, soft colors, and eyes that smiled. None of them stayed angry for long. Even when rivals clashed, the fights felt playful, not cruel. There was always forgiveness at the end, always laughter after the storm. It's why generations of players felt safe returning again and again. The characters never judged, never changed in hurtful ways. They simply welcomed you back, ready for another adventure. As the years went on, their personalities deepened through small gestures, the way Mario waved when idle, the way Luigi shivered in haunted places, the way Peach brushed dust from her gown after landing. These little animations, so quiet and human, made them feel alive. It was as if they had grown up with us, learning patience, humor, and love along the way. Even Bowser showed tenderness sometimes, helping Mario save the world when danger grew too large for one side alone. The line between hero and rival softened, replaced by understanding. Now, when players meet these characters again, it feels like reuniting with old friends. You might pick up a controller after years and hear Mario's cheerful, "Let's-a go," and something inside you relaxes. The sounds, the faces, the motions, they've all become familiar rhythms of comfort. Each character carries a piece of the player's heart, woven through years of stories. As this act settles to its quiet close, picture them standing together. The brothers, the princess, the king, the friends and stars. Around them stretches a world of calm color and gentle light. The music hums softly, a tune that has followed them through decades. They do not speak, yet the silence feels warm. The Mushroom Kingdom breathes as one family, a reminder that strength can be kind, courage can be gentle, and even the grandest adventures begin and end with friendship. The night falls and the stars above them glow. Mario tips his hat, Luigi smiles shyly, Peach laughs, Bowser grumbles good-naturedly, and Yoshi chirps in the distance. Together they fade into the horizon, their stories resting quietly in the hearts of those who dream. They do not stand in the center, yet their presence fills the world with comfort. Think of Toadsworth's careful bow at the castle doors. Think of Lumas drifting around Rosalina, blinking like tiny candles in night air. When you notice them, the whole world feels warmer, as if the game plays soft lights along your path so you will never feel lost. Toad, in many colors, is often first to say hello. He runs with quick feet, carrying maps, gifts, and cheers. Even when he says the princess is elsewhere, there is no sting, only a smile that says, "Keep going." In peach-tinted halls, toads, tidy books, and polished floors, humming old tunes. Some drive tiny carts with joy. Others open shops where a single coin buys a sweet surprise. They are gentle workers, lighting lanterns, steadying bridges, opening doors with a happy click. Their kindness sits in the background like warm tea on a desk, ready for a slow sip. Yoshi's family adds another layer of ease. Green is most known, but there are blues, reds, and pinks, each with small gifts, a longer flutter, a quick tongue, a patient step. When babies ride on their backs, the Yoshis do not rush. They move as if saying, "There is time." Island breezes carry wooden drums. The ground is springy like moss after rain. Even when a jump needs courage, Yoshi's cheerful sound makes the air lighter, and the path ahead feels friendly again. From the sky, Lecadus float in clouds, cameras in hand, or small flags waving. In some adventures, they toss spinnies, but often they guide or record, turning play into memory. One Lakitu starts the countdown for races. Another holds a camera so the view stays gentle and clear. Even spinnies feel more like puzzles than threats, rolling in careful arcs that teach timing and patience. The clouds drift like pillows at an unhurried pace that matches a calm breath. Under the water, Cheep Cheeps and Blooper families glide like paper lanterns beneath glass. The sea hums with low strings and tiny bubbles. Coral flickers with quiet light. A Cheep Cheep may nudge you, then swim on, shy to be seen. Far below, a friendly eel peeks from a rock door, curious rather than cruel. Goombas march with a simple beat, tiny feet tapping in pairs. They look stern, yet their eyebrows and quick turns make you smile. Stacked in a tower, they wobble, trying their best to be tall. When the tower falls, they scatter, not angry, only surprised. Koopa Troopas carry their homes on their backs, and when they hide, the shell becomes a slow-spinning toy. Red Koopas hug ledges so they will not fall. Green ones wander and learn the edges by trying. Here the world teaches gently, move with care, look before you leap, try again and smile. Shy guys travel in small troops, masks tilted like curious faces. Some carry balloons and drift through dusk skies. Some push toy carts with a soft squeak. When they dance, the rhythm is round and quiet, like tapping your fingers on a chair. Even Boo, the shy ghost, plays peekaboo. In their company, the dark turns kind. Near Rosalina, Lumas gather as dots of hope. When a Luma chooses to become a planet, it is not a loss, but a promise. The sky grows by one more light, and the galaxy feels like a nursery where ideas are born asleep. Even items seem alive. Fireflowers open with a polite glow. Tanuki leaves flutter down as if they already know you. The super bell purrs before it chimes, then turns your steps soft. Each tool is a helper with good manners, shaping how you move. They are invitations to try a kinder rhythm. There are caretakers of time as well. Sprixies with crystal jars wave and twirl, drawing paths like glass lace. Piantas of Isola Delfino clap with big hands and bigger hearts, showing sunny shortcuts through fruit stands and shade tents. In chilly lands, penguins slide and teach gentle turns. In quiet deserts, locals wear wide hats and speak slowly, sharing porch soft advice. Some friends are almost forgotten, yet they glow in memory. Professor Egad smiles in a cozy lab that smells like dust and tea, lending tools that whir and blink, always with a warning and a wink. Pauline's voice floats from bright stages, smooth as silk, reminding the city that courage can sing. Even rabbits, wild and silly, find calm when the music hushes and tall grass bends in the wind. Together, these supporting hearts make the worlds feel whole. They turn paths into neighborhoods and levels into living towns. They fill quiet corners with soft voices and gentle tasks. Collect a letter, carry a parcel. Chase a hat the breeze has borrowed. Each small errand gives the hand something easy to do while the mind rests. Comfort grows from little wins stacked like pillows, and the games offer them freely. So the main theme becomes clear. The Mushroom Kingdom is not held up by grand battles alone. It is stitched by helpers, by tiny rolls that lift the day. A Koopa who lines up a shell just right. A Toad who lights a hallway before you arrive. A Luma who becomes a star so you can cross the night. These threads tie every journey, making the air feel safe, the ground steady, the sky close enough to touch. As evening settles in your thoughts, the camera of the mind drifts across these faces one by one. A nod from Toadsworth, a wave from a Pianta, a laugh from a penguin sliding past, a Boo peeking around a frame, then hiding with a shy grin. Stars hum a low lullaby. Lanterns blink on like fireflies finding their places. Far away, a bell rings once, then fades. The moment grows quieter now, and attention turns toward the gentle way everything works beneath the story. You can feel patterns forming like ripples on a pond, rules that guide without pushing, shapes that teach without words. The helpers step back, and the paths they cared for open ahead. Your hands remember the motions before your mind names them. Forward, jump, spin, glide. The world is ready to show how movement itself becomes kindness, how design becomes a soft voice, and how play becomes a cradle for rest, carrying you smoothly into what comes next. Core play in Mario feels like breathing made visible. Your thumb rests on the button, the world waits, and a small press becomes a glide across soft ground. The first leap rises in a clear arc, pauses for a moment, and returns like a leaf drifting home. Speed gathers gently, held by friction that lets you steer without panic. The rules are kind and easy to trust, so your body relaxes before your thoughts even form. A level begins with a hello. A single Goomba steps forward like a metronome, and the game asks a question without words. Will you hop, Step aside or land with a soft bop and a round sound. A question block lifts its chin and invites a tap. A coin sings one note. A pipe hints that down is also a place. The sky hints that up might be waiting too. You learn by touching, not reading. Soon motions link into little sentences. A hop turns into a bounce off a shell, then a turn on the heel, then a slide under a low brick, then a dash that lands on a moving platform at the right beat. Each action completes the last, like rhyme. Gravity is firm but friendly. Momentum hums so you feel light without feeling loose. If you miss, the reset is close, so courage stays. The loop itself is soothing. Power-ups invite you to rephrase the same idea. A fire flower places a gentle rhythm in your hands. Press, 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 like tapping rain on a window. A super leaf or a cape turns a leap into a float, then a glide, then a landing. You can aim with tiny nudges. A winged cap, a cat bell, a frog suit. Each is a new dialect of motion. The world adjusts, teaching the new beat with patient cues. Checkpoints are tiny hugs. A flag halfway through a place says you can rest a second if you need. If a jump goes wrong, you are set nearby with no scold in the music. Lives and coins look like numbers, yet they feel like cushions. 100 coins give you one more try, but they also glitter like stars, guiding a calm path through a room. You do not grind, you gather. The sound of each coin keeps the pace even. The shape of space quietly teaches. Platforms move at speeds that match your legs. Gaps appear at sizes that fit a full jump, a short hop, or a float. And the level signals which one with spacing and color. Enemies arrive one by one, then two at once, then in a line that encourages a bounce from head to head. Hidden blocks perch where your curiosity would place your hands. Secrets sit just off the road, visible enough to plant a seed. Different terrains speak the same language in softer tones. In water, you press longer and drift like a bubble, climbing blue glass. The song softens and patience becomes power. In ice, slides lengthen your stride, so small taps steer you as if you wore skates. In sand, the ground holds you for half a heartbeat, then releases. In wind, you lean forward with tiny steps, and the world leans back. Nothing scolds. Everything suggests. Puzzles arrive like gentle riddles. A switch needs a nudge. A set of blocks becomes a stair. A door opens with a soft click when colors line up. You read the room first with your feet. The spacing of platforms, the curve of a slope, the trail of coins that points the way. If you do not see it the first time, the loop brings you around again with a clearer angle and kinder timing. Understanding feels like exhaling. Bosses keep the lullaby rather than break it. A pattern appears, repeats, and repeats once more. Jump, sidestep, wait, tap. The floor is wide, the tells are clear, and the beat grows familiar. Even when flames lick or shells roll, the windows for success are generous. You breathe, and the space to move seems to open with your breath. The last hit lands like a chord resolving, bright but never harsh, and then the music softens again. Collectibles shape small journeys inside larger ones. Red coins ask for careful paths that trace tidy loops. Purple coins string a curve across a skyline so you draw with your feet. Stars and moons sit in pockets of quiet. Behind a dune, on a chimney warmed by light, down a pipe painted with a hint of sparkle. You follow a glimmer, find a happy chord, and the reward arrives, like a folded note that says, "Well done." Cameras feel invisible when they are gentle, and here they are. The frame pulls back to reveal a leap, then lowers to show a landing spot. Shadows gather under your shoes to mark depth. A dot that says here is safety. Edges wear light trim so your eyes rest in the right place. When you need to turn the view, a little nudge answers, and the world rotates like a page turning under a calm hand. Flow appears and then holds steady. Inputs shrink to simple taps while thoughts drift like clouds. The level is not only something to finish, it is something to feel. You run because running feels smooth. You jump because arcs are beautiful. You collect because the chime is kind. Challenge is present, but wrapped in reassurance. Another life, another flag, another path that brings you back faster and wiser than before. Even failure rests softly here. A fall becomes a short ride to a safe floor. A missed coin becomes a second lap with cleaner lines. The pauses are brief and the messages gentle, so trying again feels like continuing a song. When success comes, it feels like calm more than triumph. The flag lowers with a sigh. The door opens without a slam. The star spins above you and warms the room with quiet gold. By the time the goal appears, what once felt new has become familiar. Running, stopping, turning, jumping, floating, each has introduced itself, shaken your hand, and taken a place nearby, ready when called. You no longer think about how to move. You notice how peaceful movement has become. The level fades, not as an exit, but as a curtain for a night scene. Your hands loosen on the controller. Your breath finds an easy rhythm. The next world will teach in the same voice, offering new shapes for old skills and new spaces for old songs. Yet the core remains steady as a heartbeat. Press to begin, move to learn, jump to believe, land to rest. The rules are small on paper and endless in practice. They never hurry you. They meet you where you are and lead you where you wish to go, step by step, note by note, into deeper comfort and kinder play. Flow returns as the ground unrolls like ribbon. You notice how the game places gentle ramps before gaps, how coin trails arc to match the safest line, and how a moving platform pauses just long enough to welcome you. A spring offers a friendly bounce that never throws you farther than you can steer. Pipes arrive in pairs, so down always has a simple way back to up. When a timer appears, it ticks in a voice that nudges rather than shouts. Lifts rise at the speed of your patience. Conveyor belts keep pace with your feet instead of racing ahead. Spinning platforms hold steady until your stance feels sure. Even swinging hooks slow their arcs when you wait, as if the world is listening. The space, the sounds, and the timing work together like guides with warm lanterns. Nothing urges you to hurry. Everything quietly cooperates with your hands, meeting you halfway at every turn. Sometimes the core shows itself in one perfect room. A slope feeds a jump that teaches a wall kick. A second ledge sits one tile higher to confirm the rhythm. A calm floor lets you try again. The camera frames the line. A soft tune marks success, and a patch of sky points you onward. By the exit, your muscles know what your thoughts did not, and learning feels like rest. The deeper you walk into these worlds, the more you feel invisible hands guiding you, soft as a breeze you cannot see yet always sense. Advanced design in Mario is not about showing off. It is about stepping back so the player can breathe. The levels seem simple, yet under the paint lie quiet rules tuned to your comfort. The game watches how you move and adds a tiny cushion where you need it most. Edges feel rounder than they look, and slopes hide gentle boosts that carry you forward without demand. Inputs accept slight wobble, and arcs smooth themselves as if the world wants you to land. Teaching follows a calm plan. Designers set up a pattern, repeat it, then change one small detail. First a single firebar, then two at different heights, then one that pauses so you learn the window. Coins arrange themselves as sentences you read with your feet. A row that curves upward says jump now. A short gap after a slope says you will carry speed. If you stop, the next platform waits a breath, as if told to mind your pace. The lesson enters the hands before the head, and learning feels like play. There are safety nets you barely feel. A platform slows just before you land. A wall nudges you into a cleaner angle for a kick. Water pulls you out of corners where you might get stuck. Even enemies serve as guides. Paratroopas flap in tempos that match a double jump. Piranha plants duck on regular beats, so you count to 3 and pass. The rules are firm, but the timing hums like a lullaby, and the bed of the level is made each time you enter. Choice becomes a gentle fork. One route is low stress and full of coins. Another is narrow and bright with rewards. You are never forced into speed. You choose a rhythm that fits your hands today. If you return tomorrow, a different path greets you like a friend who noticed you grew taller. The levels remember without saving. They welcome many moods and many ages, many kinds of patience. This is advanced design hidden behind a smile. Difficulty is not a fence, it is a slope. At the start, the grade is so slight you hardly feel it. Later, the climb grows by single steps, each taught by the last. The game asks for precision only after it has given you comfort. When challenge appears, the world offers wider floors, brighter tells, and a place to rest just past the test. The rise is steady, your mind settles, and courage feels natural. Even secrets are designed to be learned, not found by chance alone. The camera leans toward a corner. A lone coin hangs where no coin should float. A shadow hints at a fake painting. You move closer, and the world opens with a soft sound. In that moment, curiosity becomes trust. The game listens to you, and you listen back. Systems connect like threads in a quilt. Physics, music, color, and camera work together to shape mood. In the air, gravity sits lower at the top of a jump, stretching time for a breath so you can aim. On the ground, friction grips then releases, like a hand that guides and then lets go. In water, buoyancy turns effort into glide. The same math supports every move, but it bends around the player like a blanket. Animation carries information without shouting. The squash of a Goomba announces safety. The wind-up of a Hammer Bro tells the beat to cross. A thwomp rises with a clear inhale, then slams with an exhale, and the pause is your cue. Nothing hides behind unfair tricks. Everything is readable if you watch the edges and hear the silence between sounds. Colors do more than decorate. Warm reds pull attention to doors and switches. Cool blues calm rooms that ask for care. Pastel skies reduce strain during long stages. In snow, shadows lean purple, so edges stay clear without harsh contrast. In lava lands, oranges soften with brown so the scene glows rather than glares. Your eyes rest while your hands work. Sound design waits at the doorway to the next act, yet its work begins here. Footsteps change on stone, grass, wood, and ice, telling you where you stand without looking. The coin chime sits in a safe band of brightness, clear but never sharp. Enemy effects are distinct yet gentle, so you can track them with ears while your eyes follow jumps. Damage stings briefly and then softens, a reminder rather than a scold. Silence also speaks. A quiet room frames a careful leap better than any sign. Advanced design knows when to be quiet. Long stretches let you run for the joy of running. An empty hill gives room to try a move without risk. A simple bridge frames a sunset so you pause without being told. Checkpoints act like benches along a trail. They say you may rest here, and when you rise, the path will still be kind. Accessibility hides in small kindnesses. Inputs accept tiny timing errors. Menus remember your last choice. Prompts adapt to remap buttons. Colorblind modes shift hues while protecting meaning. Subtle vibration marks checkpoints and secrets for players who listen with their hands. These touches do not change the challenge. They change the welcome, and welcome changes everything. When worlds grow complex, the game narrows the talk to what matters. Background motion slows, so the foreground feels steady. Particles fade as platforms begin to move. The camera widens when speed grows and tightens when care is needed. Your focus is never pulled in two directions at once. The design clears a quiet lane through noise. All of this creates meaning beyond score or time. You feel seen. You feel taught without being tested. You feel strong without needing to fight. The levels become small stories about learning, patience, and return. Rest now. The path ahead remains gentle tonight. The first sound is almost silence, a soft breath at the edge of hearing, and then a gentle note that feels like a hand on your shoulder. Music in Mario begins kindly. It opens a door, lets warm air in, and invites you to rest. A small rhythm taps like footsteps on wood. A bright melody lifts its head and smiles. Nothing hurries. The tune walks beside you like a friend, matching your pace without pulling too hard. Hear the field theme as a sunny path. The drums are soft as pillows. A round little bass bounces. Over it, the main melody steps forward. In simple shapes you can hum after one listen. It repeats just enough to feel safe, then bends one note to keep your mind awake. The loop is short, but it never grows old, because the world around it keeps changing in small ways. Coins chime like drops of rain on a tin roof. The jump speaks in a happy pop. The stomp lands with a soft thud. Movement turns into music. When the sky turns dark, the music turns with it, like evening light sliding across a floor. In caves, tones grow lower and slower, and echoes stretch each note so you can hear the space. In water, the rhythm loosens and long strings float under the surface, smooth as glass. A bright bell marks bubbles rising, then fading. The melody holds its breath and glides, asking you to glide with it. You press the button a little longer, and your swimmer body follows the line the tune draws. Castles speak in careful steps. The percussion keeps time like a quiet walk down stone halls. Notes come in small groups, 2 or 4, as if the walls count with you. When a fire bar turns, the pattern clicks into place, and you feel the music helping your feet find space between flames. Even in tension, the sound stays gentle. It asks for focus without fear. It gives courage without a shout. A coin is a voice you never forget. Bright and quick, it cuts through every track without being sharp. It tells you yes in a single ping. That one syllable helps you relax because it means the game heard you and gave a gift. The jump has a voice too, round and clean, with a soft end so your ears do not tire. The goal flag sings a small slide downward, then rests on a smile. These sounds are tiny rewards tucked into motion that keep your hands calm and steady. Composers write with patience. Themes return across years like friends knocking at your door. A few notes from an old track peek out inside a new one, and your heart knows them before your mind does. The harmony says, "We have been here before, but look, the light is different now." Instruments change like seasons, from tiny beeps to warm guitars, from toy pianos to full bands, from small chips to sweeping strings. Yet the shape of the melody stays honest and clear, easy to sing, easy to trust. Silence is part of the score. The game leaves a breath at the start of a room, or a quiet after a win. Those rests are not empty. They are soft frames that make the music feel close. When you pause on a hill and the wind hushes, you can hear the last coin ring fade into the sky. When you enter a pipe, the world mutes for a blink, then opens in a new key. The quiet teaches you to listen, and listening helps you slow down. As you gather speed, the music leans in and adds a few more drums. As you ride a rail or fly with a cape, high notes sparkle at the edges like sunlight on water. When you slow down, extra parts fade and the main theme returns to a slow walk. The score listens to you. It shapes itself around your breath and posture, so play and song become one motion. This is why long sessions feel restful. The sound holds you the whole time and guides your hands without a word. Some songs live close to bedtime, the lullaby of a star road, the gentle waltz of a snowy town, the soft piano of a castle hall, each note spaced like steps in a quiet museum. These tracks do not push you forward. They invite you to look. You turn the stick a little to the left, a little to the right, and the camera nods with you. In that nod, the melody nods too, as if the room itself is breathing with you. Best of all, the sound remembers your history. A theme from your childhood shows up years later in a new suit of instruments, and time folds like a blanket over your knees. You stand in a modern plaza, yet the tune carries the same simple heart as a tiny 8-bit line. You breathe out, and the years let go of their weight. The song does not claim the past. It shares it, and makes space for the present to rest beside it. Listen long enough, and you notice a promise at the center of all this music. It tells you play can be kind. It tells you effort can be soft. It tells you joy can be quiet and still count as joy. The last notes of a level do not shout at the credits. They bow. They offer the air back to you, clean and calm. The screen fades, and your room seems lighter than it was. So we end this act the way a good song ends, by touching the first line with deeper peace. That first gentle note is here again, warm and steady. The beat is slower now, like your heart before sleep. The melody steps down a few stairs and stops at the door, smiling. It does not need to say goodnight. The quiet says it for you. Across the world, the small hero in a red cap travels like a gentle lantern passed from hand to hand. In bedrooms with humming fans, in living rooms warmed by evening tea, and in dorm halls where lights linger past midnight, Mario arrives as a quiet guest. Parents smile because they remember the first blue sky. Children laugh because the sky is new for them. A cousin shows a shortcut. A grandparent presses a button and hears the bright coin chime, and the room loosens like a long breath let out together. Culture gathers around this warmth and grows soft edges. Lunchboxes and notebooks carry red hats and green overalls. Backpacks show Yoshi running toward a sunny horizon. Small stickers rest on laptops the way stars rest on night. Costumes appear at fall fairs and spring parades. Tiny plumbers with cotton mustaches and cardboard question blocks carried like lanterns. None of it needs to shout. The colors speak gently, and their meaning is clear without words. Adventure is friendly here, and home is near. In arcades that survive the years, a few cabinets still glow. Someone leans close to the glass and steadies a joystick like a bicycle handle. In a back room, friends set an old system on a table and blow dust from a cartridge as though waking a sleeping book. The click, the logo, the music, the first level, the room becomes a small museum where time is allowed to pause. People do not argue over high scores tonight. They tell simple stories. My first warp zone, your first cape flight, our shared laughter at a missed jump, and the stories settle around them like blankets. The influence walks beyond games without losing its calm step. In classrooms, teachers use level maps to show patterns, cause, and effect. A child learns left and right by guiding a small figure across paper platforms. Fractions explain themselves when coins collect in tens. Music clubs play cheerful medleys, and shy students find courage by repeating the four-note motif that always brings smiles. Art rooms fill with clay pipes and painted hills. In each of these places, the world of Mario becomes a language for learning that feels like play. Family rooms turn into theaters for gatherings that do not need trophies to matter. Mario Kart sends cousins laughing across bright tracks, while elders cheer from sofas, describing turns like friendly commentators. When the race ends, no one leaves. They trade controllers and pick new colors, because the real prize is the circle they form together. Years later, the same players meet again with new jobs, new homes, and new worries. And the game opens the same door. The track remembers them, and they remember the way back. Online, people share clips that feel like postcards. A speedrunner moves with dreamy precision, drawing a silver thread through a level without waste, and the chat whispers wow in many languages. Another player builds a stage where the only goal is to bounce on clouds shaped like hearts. A mother uploads a video of her child clapping when the flag lowers. A grandfather posts a photo of his first star. The platform becomes a quiet river of small wins, each one lighting the next. Parks turn ideas into slow dreams you can walk through. A green pipe becomes a doorway, a coin, sound dances in the air. Hosts wave like toads, and murals wrap buildings in soft hills and friendly skies. Visitors tap question blocks and feel a gentle vibration in the palm. A ride does not need sharp drops to thrill. It offers careful motion and bright scenes, leaving guests smiling rather than tense. Parents kneel to tie a child's shoe, while a mascot bends down too, turning a small task into a moment kept for years. Collectors care for old cartridges the way gardeners care for seeds. Shelves hold boxes with faded art that still glows. Handmade displays cradle consoles like tiny museums in wood and glass. Some people patch broken systems and share guides so others can hear that startup chime again. This quiet repair culture says something hopeful, that good play deserves long life, and that taking care is part of the fun. Language itself borrows from these games and carries the words into everyday talk. People say level up after a good day, or call a busy week a lava world, or name a helpful friend a star. Teams place a pixel mushroom on a calendar to mark a finished project. A small sound plays on someone's phone, and 3 co-workers smile without needing to explain why. Shared meaning rests like a blanket across many desks and many lives. The legacy is also a calm bridge between generations who do not always know how to speak to each other. A teenager shows a parent a new kingdom where the moon rises red and the sand shimmers like sugar. The parent shows the teenager the first time Mario became small, then grew tall from a mushroom that popped from a block. They nod at each other, surprised by how the old and new share the same simple heart. In that nod, worry melts. They watch the screen together and breathe in rhythm with the jumping theme. In hospitals and waiting rooms, handheld systems glow quietly. Patients who cannot sleep walk soft fields to pass long hours. Siblings play co-op to steady nerves before a test. A nurse glances at a screen for a second between alarms, then returns to work with lighter steps. The games do not cure, but they comfort, and comfort is a kind of light. Across the world, festivals invite people to dance in pixel colors. Cities turn buildings into blocky backdrops at night, projecting hills that move with music. Cosplayers stroll in gentle parades, stopping for photos with patient smiles. No one worries about perfection. Small threads show, shoes squeak, laughing lines crease makeup, and the joy is better because it is real. The red cap keeps its place in every heart, a small flag of playfulness. Yet the legacy is quietest in private places, where a person starts a save file after a long day and lets the first notes loosen the mind. The screen becomes a window to a kinder pace. Coins chime like wind bells. Enemies step like metronomes. The level bends down to lift tired feet. 10 minutes later, the world outside feels softer. The player turns off the system, and the song keeps going under the breath like a friendly hum on the walk to bed. So the cultural path of Mario is not a single road, but many small paths that meet again and again. Homes, schools, parks, screens, stages, shops, and tiny night lamps. Each holds a piece of the same dream. The dream says that play can be gentle, that color can be medicine, and that simple heroes can tie a planet together without raising their voices. The dream travels lightly and keeps arriving on new doorsteps with the same steady smile. Tomorrow, somewhere, someone will press start for the first time, and another lantern will begin its calm, joyful walk across the night, gently. The secret paths begin as whispers at the edge of the screen, hints that ask you to look again. A coin floats too high, a wall seems too smooth, a pipe hums like a shell held to the ear. You try once more, and the world opens like a book with a hidden fold. An invisible block lifts you up. A vine grows, patient and green, reaching for a sky that was always there. You climb, the air shifts color, and the music smiles at this quiet stare. Warp zones wait behind plain walls, close to the root, but tucked just out of sight. A pipe leads not to a tiny room, but to a soft run through darkness, where simple signs point ahead. You pick one and feel a tickle of time, skipping a chapter with the author's blessing. Elsewhere, a level hides a door behind a waterfall, a moon under a dune, a star in a corner. The joy is not the prize alone. It is the click when noticing becomes knowing. Some secrets arrive by accident, like friendly glitches that trip and laugh. A shell lands on a corner and keeps bouncing, coins ringing like chimes. A slope turns into a slide that carries you across a map in a happy blur. The world is sturdy, but not stiff, and sometimes the seams show in cozy ways. Players share these wonders the way neighbors share recipes. Try this. At the second hill, with a small hop first. Hidden paths also teach patience. A key sits in plain sight but needs a round way to reach. A door waits across a bridge that appears only when clouds drift apart. The lesson is never mean. It says, stay a little longer, look a little closer, breathe, and try a new angle. When the answer comes, it feels earned yet easy, like the last piece of a puzzle sliding into place. Easter eggs take many forms, each a small lamp of memory. Old melodies hide inside new ones, folded like letters in a drawer. A traveling musician hums a theme from childhood. A painting on a castle wall echoes a level from long ago. In a plaza, a street performer jumps with a familiar sound, and the crowd claps on the right beat. The past shakes hands with now. Deeper secrets hide in motion. A triple jump opens a rooftop garden. A long jump crosses a gap that looks too wide until you trust the arc. A wall kick lifts you into a thin loft where a single coin waits like a candle. Moves become keys. Rhythm becomes map. Your hands learn a language the world is eager to hear, and the world answers softly. And still, the largest secret is why this magic lasts. The answer lives in the space between action and peace. The games make room for both. They let you move and rest, learn and wonder, succeed and smile, without breaking the rhythm. Every decade brings new shapes and songs, but the feeling stays. The jump pauses for one soft heartbeat. The coin sings the same bright syllable. The sky opens the same way when you step into light. The appeal endures because the world treats you gently while trusting you to grow. It remembers that you might be 5 or 15 or 50, and it welcomes each age with the same warm door. It does not talk down to you, it walks beside you. Its secrets respect your time. They are short paths to delight, not long tricks to test patience. When life changes, the game changes, offering simple paths on busy days and deeper trails on quiet nights. Timelessness also lives in craft you do not see. Colors keep eyes calm. Sounds avoid sharp edges. Controls accept tiny trembles and still turn them into grace. Stories stay light, giving the mind room to rest. Even the hardest levels let you try again quickly, like turning a page back with one finger. The design teaches kindness by being kind, and that lesson remains after the screen goes dark. Tonight, as the story slows, we walk one last hallway of tiny wonders. A picture frame tilts to reveal mirrors. A bookcase slides with a padded hush. A staircase rises where there was only wall. You step onto soft carpet, lamplight like tea with milk. Somewhere, a music box plays, its melody simple and old. You open a small door and find not treasure, but a window, and beyond it, a sky of drifting coins that dissolve into stars. On the walls, small portraits wink as you pass, and their frames hold tiny engravings of mushrooms, stars, and leaves. The carpet fibers spring back under your steps. A gentle draft carries the smell of clean paper and wood polish, the scent of saved games and letters you meant to write. We pause at the threshold of sleep and think of how many secret places still wait. New games will build new corners, new jokes, new songs under new stones. Old games will offer the comfort of a path we know by heart. Both are blessings. Both are home. The plumber in red will keep running in gentle loops through grass and snow and galaxies, waving when he sees us and tipping his cap at the flag. So let the secrets settle like dust in sunlight. Let the glitches giggle and fade. Let the Easter eggs rest until morning. The world does not end when we stop playing. It hums in quiet rooms, in kind hearts, in soft music just under breath. If you listen, you can hear a coin chime far away, then another, then none at all. The notes stretch thinner, slower, warmer. Now the lights draw down to a low glow. Clouds close their eyes, hills soften into shadows. Pipes dream of ocean waves, and bricks dream of warm pockets. A flag folds itself and leans against the pole. Somewhere a star spins once, then smaller, then sleeps small. The path ahead is safe and patient. You have walked far enough for tonight. Close your eyes. Feel the controller grow light in your hands. Hear the last note hold and fade. Somewhere a secret door waits, but it will still be there tomorrow. For now, float, drift, rest. The kingdom keeps watch. The lanterns stay lit. The magic does not leave. It grows quiet, and then quieter, and then it falls gently asleep. Tonight.